Hi everyone and welcome to today's grade 1 theory video. We're going to be looking at note values today. Okay, so most of you should be relatively familiar with this. I'm going to assume that you've had some lessons on your instruments and that you will have encountered these, and your teachers may have used words for these like frog, tadpole, tar, tt. We're going to look at the theoretical names for them today. So we use as our standpoint to measure notes a crotchet, and a crotchet, as you can see here, is a 1 beat note. So we're going to use that as our standpoint to measure notes, a 1 beat note. So it starts with this, a semibreve. A semibreve, as you can see here, is just an oval which is uncoloured, and that lasts for 4 crotchet beats. Minims, which is a palindrome, minim, same forward as it is backwards, lasts for 2 beats, and that is our uncoloured oval with a stem. Okay, and obviously you can draw your minim like this. Shall I make my pen a little bit thinner for this? This will help, won't it? Crotchets are 1 beat notes. So now it's a coloured oval with a stem. And then quavers last for half a crotchet beat each. It says here they are always beamed together for grade 1. So it's important to note that whilst you will always see your quavers beamed together like this, each of them is worth half each. Okay, so if we're adding them together, a half add a half equals 1 beat, but each individual quaver is only worth half each. Of course, a quaver, if you draw it by yourself, looks like this, which has a stem and a little flick on it. Now you might notice going through these, as the notes get longer, that we take something away, or as the notes get shorter, we add something on. So let's demonstrate that. We'll draw a semibreve, which is our oval. A minim, we're going to add on a stem. A crotchet, we're going to colour in our note head. And a quaver, we're going to add on a flick. So as the notes have got shorter, we've added something on, whether that's a stem, colouring in the note head, or a flick. That's a little way to remember them. But remember, semibreve is 4 crotchet beats. Minims are 2 crotchet beats. Crotchets are 1 crotchet beat. And a quaver is half a crotchet beat. Okay. Now we have one other way that we need to talk about our notes for the time being, which is what happens when we add a dot to it here. Okay, so we have an example here of a dotted minim. A minim being a 2 beat note, which is uncoloured note head with a stem, and we've put a dot after it. A dot means that we add half of the note's value to its length. So our example below here shows a minim, which is 2, added to half its length, which is 1, equals 3. So 2, half of 2 is 1, add them together gives us 3. A nice way to think about this is it's 1.5 times its value. For example, 2 times 1.5 equals 3. Okay. So if we had, say for example, a dotted semibreve, let me put you up a little bit there, a dotted semibreve, well, a semibreve lasts for 4. Half of 4 is 2. So a dotted semibreve would last for 6 beats. Let's do the same with a crotchet. If we had a dotted crotchet, well, a crotchet lasts for 1. Half of 1 is a half. So a dotted crotchet lasts for 1.5 crotchet beats. Hopefully that makes some sense to you. If it doesn't, please do drop me a message and we can talk through it a little bit further. So on this page, we have a couple of exercises. I believe there are 5 in this section, so there's 2 pages to this. It starts by asking us to add the total number of crotchet beats together. For example, a half, add 1, add 2 equals 4 crotchet beats. And there are more examples below. Then it asks us to write 6 crotchet Gs, so you're going to have to use your rhymes. Look, is it treble clef? Is it bass clef? 3 minim Es and 2 semibreve Ds. 3 dotted minim Fs and 2 dotted minim Gs. And then 8 quavers on C beamed together in 2s. So we'll just recap slightly this beaming concept. So if we have 2 quavers next to each other, Here's one quaver. Here's another quaver. We can beam them together. It's almost like they're joining hands at the top. So they could equally look like this. It's really important in this instance that you don't draw your beamed quavers like this. Like it's a sort of person with the feet facing outwards. We don't want that. That's a sad face. We need to make sure that the nut heads face the same direction. So what I'd like you to do now is pause the video, have a go at the 5 exercises, and we'll come back and do them together. Okay, so by now you should have had a go at all 5 exercises. I hope you've got on okay, but we're going to work through them now. So number 1's already done for us here. The next one is a semi-brief, which is 4 beats, added to a minim, which is 2. So that gives us 6 crotchet beats. The next one, a minim, added to a crotchet, gives us 3 crotchet beats. The next one, a dotted minim, so that's 3 beats, added to a half and a half, gives us 4 crotchet beats. Now we have a crotchet, and a crotchet, which is 3 crotchet beats. A dotted minim, which is 3, added to a minim, which is 2, gives us 5 crotchet beats. A minim, which is 2, added to a semi-brief, which is 4, gives us 6 crotchet beats. A crotchet added to a quaver, gives us 2 crotchet beats. I hope you got all of them all right. Number 2 then, write 6 crotchet G's. It's been very kind, it's already started us off. We'll go through our rhyme though so we know it. So it's every good boy deserves football. So we know that second line, this line here, are going to be our G's in treble clef, and we're going to draw 6 of them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The next line, 3 minim E's and 2 semi-brief D's. So I know every good boy deserves football. So E as a minim, we're going to draw 3 of them. Uncoloured note head with a stem. And then 2 semi-brief D's. Well, there's 2 D's on the stave. We could either do a semi-brief up here, or we could do a semi-brief here. Number 4. Write 3 dotted minim F's and 2 dotted minim G's. Okay, now we must be careful because we've changed to bass clef. So let's find out F. Well, we know it's an F clef. So we know the line coming out of here is an F. So let's do our 3 dotted minim F's. So a note head with a dot and a stem going down. 2 and 3. And 2 dotted minim G's. So let's do 2 different ones, shall we? So a dotted minim G could be here. All cows eat grass. Or a dotted minim G could be here. For good boys deserve fudge always. Lastly, 8 quavers on C beamed together in 2s. Okay? So we'll do all cows eat grass, so it's the second space. So 1, 2, we're going to beam them together. 1, 2, beam them together. 1, 2, beam them together. 1, 2, beam them together. And that leaves us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's our 8 quaver C's beamed together in 2s. As always, let me know how you got on. Drop me a message if you're struggling with anything. I'll leave my details after this.